Nature, which makes life possible on Earth, also has the capacity to profoundly alter the globe. Many of the deadliest natural disasters, such as earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and landslides, are caused by the tremendous movement of the Earth. Here are the top 10 most dangerous natural disasters. But before we start our countdown, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Number 10. The AD 1138 Aleppo Earthquake. The ground beneath Aleppo, Syria began to quake on October 11, 1138. Tumblers are common in the city since it stands at the meeting of the Arabian and African plates, but this one was exceptionally severe. Although the exact magnitude of the quake has been lost to the time, contemporary chronicles recorded that the city's citadel collapsed, residences across Aleppo disintegrated. The death toll was estimated to be around 230,000. Number 9. The 1976 Tangshan Earthquake. According to a study by the US Geological Survey, a magnitude 7.8 earthquake burned the Chinese city of Tangshan to the ground at 3:42 a.m. On July 28, 1976 USGC, Tangshan, an industrial city with a population of roughly 1 million people at the time of the accident, saw almost 240,000 people killed. While this was the official death toll, many experts believe it significantly understated, and the actual death toll was closer to 700,000. According to reports, 85% of the Tangshan's buildings fell. Tremors were felt more than 100 miles distant in Beijing, China. Tangshan was reconstructed to its former glory over a period of several years. Number 8. The AD 526 Antioch Earthquake. A definite death toll for the Antioch Earthquake is difficult to come by, as it's for any millennia-old calamities. When the earthquake struck the Byzantine Empire city of Byzantium, now Turkey and Syria, in May 526, historian John Malalas estimated that roughly 250,000 people died. Malalas blamed the calamity on God's anger, claiming that fires had burned everything in Antioch that had not been destroyed by the earthquakes. The death toll was larger than it would have been at the other times of the year because the city was packed with tourists celebrating Ascension Day, the Christian feast that celebrates Jesus' ascension into paradise, according to a 2007 report published in the Medieval History Journal. Number 7. The 1920 Haiyuan Earthquake. During a seminar in 2010, Deng Qidong, a geologist of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, stated that the Haiyuan earthquake was the biggest earthquake recorded in China in the 20th century, with the highest magnitude and intensity. The earthquake that devastated Haiyuan country in the northern central China on December 16, 1920, also shook adjacent Gansu and Shannxi provinces. The earthquake was apparently a 7.8 on the Richter scale, although China believes it was 8.5 today. There are also inconsistencies in the number of people who have died. The USGS reported 200,000 deaths. However, a 2010 study by Chinese seismologists estimated that the death toll may be as high as 273,400. According to a study published on the journal Landslide in 2010, the region's significant deposits of loess soils generated major landslides that killed over 30,000 people. Number 6. The 1839 CORINGA Cyclone. A major cyclone slammed Coringa, India on November 25, 1839, causing 40-feet storm surge that decimated the city. The hurricane killed 300,000 people and destroyed over 25,000 ships in its path, making it one of the deadliest storms in the human history. Coringa, on the Bay of the Bengal, was once a bustling port city, thus served as a vital route for trade between India and the rest of the globe. Although Coringa had previously been devastated by huge cyclones, including the Great Coringa Cyclone of 1789, which killed over 20,000 people, the city always recovered quickly, becoming affluent and densely inhabited by the mid-1800s. Despite the fact that nothing is known about the storm due to a lack of records, experts think that the city's residents were entirely caught off guard when the hurricane hit. This is due in part to the storm's occurrence at an abnormally late point in the Bay of Bengal cyclone season. Number 5. The 2010 Haiti Earthquake. A devastating 7.0 magnitude quake struck about 16 miles west of the Port-au-Prince, Haiti's capital city, on January 12, 2010. The earthquake, which struck at 4:53 p.m., was felt by the roughly 3 million people and triggered 52 aftershocks in the 2 weeks that followed. The small island nation's poor housing conditions, lack of planning, and lack of earthquake proofing proved disastrous, resulting in the destruction of 250,000 plus houses and the fall of 30,000 plus commercial buildings. Estimating the death toll is difficult and has been a source of contention for years. According to the Haitian authorities, roughly 222,000 people died. Several investigations by the international organizations, however, have accused the Haitian government of purposefully inflating figures in order to receive more humanitarian aid. According to more recent estimates, the death toll is around 100,000. Number 4. The 1970 Bhola Cyclone. A severe hurricane made landfall along the coast of the East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, on November 12, 1970, causing havoc on the unprepared region. The storm, which had continuous wind of 115 miles per hour, produced a 33-foot storm surge that wreaked havoc on surrounding villages. Approximately 3.6 million people were directly affected by the hurricane, with nearly 85% of all homes and buildings along with coasts destroyed or seriously damaged. The violent cyclone is thought to have killed around 500,000 people, including 46,000 fishermen, whom the area's fishing capabilities were crippled for years due to the destruction of 9,000 boats. In the weeks that followed, landslides, flooding, and severe rain ruined many crops and animals in both India and Pakistan. Number 3. The 1556 Shannxi Earthquake. The most powerful earthquake in human history struck China's Ming Dynasty on the morning of January 23, 1556 in Shannxi province. The earthquake, which was estimated to be of magnitude 8 by modern measurements, struck an area of 840 kilometers in China, affecting 97 distinct counties. The quake was particularly catastrophic because many of the Shannxi's population lived in yodongs, artificial caves dug into cliffs at the time, and many of the caves simply collapsed, killing thousands of people in their homes. The quake killed approximately 60% of the population in various locations according to imperial records from the time. Official records show that approximately 830,000 Chinese people died as a result of that tragedy, which was wreaked havoc on the area by many landslides, flooding due to blocked canals, and tremors which continued for half a year. Buildings in Beijing, Shanghai, and Chengdu all suffered substantial structural damage as a result of the disaster, which occurred up to 310 miles away from the epicenter. Number 2. The 1887 Yellow River Flood. In September 1887, severe rain caused one of the greatest natural disasters in recorded history, when China's Yellow River overflowed its banks, flooding an estimated 50,000 square kilometers of northern China. Historians attribute the calamity to farmers living near the river, who built sophisticated dikes over ages to keep the Yellow River from flooding naturally each year. Water levels naturally grow as a result of the generations of sediment settling along the river's bottom due to its inability to overflow outward, swelling the Yellow River to record heights in the years that followed. In September 1887, severe rain caused dikes near the city of Jiangsu to fail, causing the river to flow unrestrained into the low-lying plains that surrounded it. As other dikes collapsed, entire regions were inundated in floodwater in a matter of minutes. After the floodwaters receded weeks later, about 2 million Chinese people were left homeless, with an estimated 900,000 people dying in the disaster. Lack of preparation along with a slow response from the government compounded the dangerous situation on the ground, as basic essentials like food and water were limited for weeks. The 1887 Yellow River flood is still considered one of the biggest natural disasters in terms of the devastations and casualties. Number 1. Central China Flood of 1931. Floods from the Yellow, Yangtze, Pearl, and Huai rivers, along with water from the Grand Canal, swamped much of the central China in 1931, making it the biggest natural disaster in human history. Several factors contributed to the disaster, which occurred over several months. Melting ice and snow from the Chinese mountains, along with strong rains during the spring, summer, and autumn, forced each of the country's major rivers to overflow their banks, resulting in a flood zone spanning 180,000 square kilometers. Experts think that up to 53 million people were directly affected by the flooding at its peak, with a death toll of 3.7 million people. Aside from the high death costs, the massive flood was also responsible for the destruction of vast swaths of agricultural and houses, resulting in famine the following year. Diseases including measles, cholera, malaria, schistosomiasis, and dysentery spread quickly as a result of these severe flooding. Sanitation began to deteriorate across the region as a result of the overcrowded and displacement of millions. Although international aid arrived quickly, the Japanese invasion of Manchuria in the late 1931 only contributed to the chaos, causing Chinese bond market to collapse. As of 2019, the Central China flood of 1931 is still the world's biggest and deadliest natural disaster, with total damage price impossible to measure due to the massive devastation. Thanks for watching. See you soon in another video. If you liked the video, share the thoughts in the comment section below, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon for all the latest videos.